So you remember your belly is the foundation, just like Shalabhasana, Dhanurasana, and then you want to use back bend principles for your legs. Basically, they adduct and brace in this position, and then lift your head and upper chest only and work your pose. Okay? So this is much harder than it can seem.
Should we show them what you really are trying to get them to not do? What a lot of people often do with the legs?
Exactly. And even people lift the thighs. And if you lift your thighs, that is the equivalent of this in a back bend. Okay, and that's why you're trying to adduct and keep things parallel and ground your legs. All right, because that's all good, sound, back-bending principles.
And it's just that it takes like a tremendous amount of strength to be able to keep back-bending principles and then get your feet onto the ground, right?
Yeah, a fair amount of upper body strength, right. But also, one other thing about this, you remember that to do it strictly parallel, it might be too much for some people. So it can be slightly wider, but the point is that no, you can internally rotate, adduct, and brace at any width. So the width of the stance is not as important as that you use those principles. Okay, and in terms of efficiency, if you can be parallel and you can do it, that's better. But we gotta be forgiving here, right? It's a challenge to do these things. So if it's wider, you still use back-bending principles. All right, so here's a couple of things we're gonna do. You're gonna kneel and your feet will be at the wall, and then the blanket's for your knees. Bring one leg up to like a lunge. Okay, and then just flex your knee of your right leg and reach back and catch that. Okay, and you don't have to swivel your wrist at first. Okay, just grab that foot and pull it, and basically trying to make Ardha Virasana with an upright, a vertical thigh, torso, head, a neutral pelvis. Okay, and then if you can swivel your wrist easily and get the Bhekasana arm position, fine, do it. But it's not essential. You're like this, so you're going to internally rotate that and externally rotate it. So actually feel the rotation of your leg in that position. And so remember, in our back-bending principle, you're trying to keep a neutral leg, okay, in all cases. But what it'll tend to do is externally rotate, so you're going to internally rotate it until it's neutral. Okay, and if it happens to be too internally rotated, well, then externally rotate it till it's neutral. What generally happens is that the legs go away from each other. So you're going to adduct till that leg is basically parallel to each other and then brace. This is easy to feel up in the air, much harder to feel when you're down on the ground. So that's what you're trying to do though. And then brace that leg and then apply arm power and open up the front of your body so that you're trying to lengthen your thigh and change sides. So you're trying to lengthen your thigh and lengthen those internal muscles along the pelvis. So the whole front of the body lengthens out here. And try to feel it. The quadriceps stretch. The psoas muscles lengthen. And for some people, if that's tight, then you'll really feel that. But if it's already loose and flexible, then you may not feel too much. But you try. Try to make it as much like you're in samastitihi as possible through the whole chain. From the knee up through the thigh, through the hip, up through the torso, ribs, up through the head.
It's less of a back bend than most people think, right? It's more about lengthening this, stretching that.
Yeah, there's almost no extension in the spine, right? And the same with Shalabhasana in a way, though. The extension is not big in those poses. Now, go down onto your belly, bend both knees, okay, and then take your left forearm arm up and the forearm well in front of the torso. Okay, so you want to keep your belly down in this. And so if you put your forearm towards your torso, then you're going to tend to overlift. Okay, then catch your foot, and whether you can swivel your wrist or not, it's better if you can swivel your wrist, but if not, no problem. Just push down on that foot. Keep your belly down, but lift the chest. And then feel that leg work. Feel the rotation, which is much harder to feel here. The abduction and adduction's not too bad. You can feel that, make the thigh go out, make the thigh go in a little bit with a rotation, and then find a neutral embrace. And the rotation part is a little bit tricky. So if in doubt, just brace your legs. Do not let them move easily. All right, and then ground your thigh and lengthen the whole line. So, and when I say lengthen the whole line, I mean the quadriceps, that whole length of the quadricep, and then inside the belly, inside the torso, lengthen through there. So remember, your forearm is well forward of you so that your belly stays down as you lift. And then you can also clear the forearm off the ground. Just lift it and work. One real important contribution this pose is making to the whole equation, the whole sequence of back bends, is this lengthening of the front. Okay, especially the quadricep. You're trying to lengthen that out because a tight quadricep will hamper your back bend. Okay, so whereas long muscles here, length, that's how you get a nice back bend in Urdhva Dhanurasana or the different poses, Natarajasana, all those. It's kind of a steep leap to go from one arm at a time or one foot at a time to both. But find your customization, whatever that may be, even if it's alternating sides for half the time. All right, and then when you go to the upward dog, be ready. And so each one of these back bends, try to feel the upward dog. See, like here now, when you've done the Bhekasana nicely, you'll feel more freedom, more opening through the whole front of the body. And then exhale back. Thank you for joining me for this video. So this September, I'm doing an online Mysore Foundations course. And you can find out more information about it on my website. Hope you can join me.